succeed, and it looks like they are underway. Let's find out what's inside of this treasury. First, we got to listen to the king, and we've got an herb, a cursed belt, and of course, a magic key. So that cursed belt does give them the knowledge that at least one of the 3 search tiles is active, and there will be a key item under there. Those areas, of course, being the one in Hawksness, the one in Coal, and the one in the coordinates on the overworld.
And it's also nice to sell if you can find a town, because that is, I believe, what is it, 180 gold?
Yeah, I think it's a nice 180 gold. That gets you like a copper sword and a small shield, for example, or, you know, depending on what they have, it could push them up into, you know, a better weapon, better equipment, or maybe just to stock up on herbs since they don't have any healing right now. And it is, of course, that big swamp flag. So folks in chat noted they have plenty of hit points, and that's probably because they're starting in a swamp, and there's going to be a whole lot more swamp across this whole map.
Right, yeah, that makes it much more convenient, as chat was explaining it, or as we were getting explained earlier. It makes it a little bit more likely that this is a viable seed and that they don't really get stuck, so that's obviously good to see. Speaking of good to see, Diabeetus is getting the good monster roll so far. Meanwhile, Janus is getting a whole bunch of Magidrakies until they get a ghost, so yay.
Yep, and actually taking out that Drakey is enough for Diabeetus to get the next level. He's got 4 power, 2 response speed, 12 hit points, 2 magic, and the spell of Stop Spell to go along with his outside.
Well, it's the spell that's definitely got some uses. If we happen to find any monsters that have a very high hurt or hurt more script, that can certainly be very helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Or that ever so worrisome sleep spell, being able to stop that as well. Very, very good one to have there. And it looks like JanusZeal also able to take out a ghost to push them over into their level 2 and gets the same spell and stat boost. I believe both are running strength HP builds, so we won't see any divergence in terms of the difference in their stats by their level.
So, since I'm going to very much be asking questions as far as somebody who is still relatively new to the community, so if you're doing a big swamp start like this, kind of what are you looking for in terms of going forward, so to speak?
You know, I don't really play a whole lot of the big swamp stuff, but I would say the main thing that I would be wanting is some form of healing, right? Because, and as well as hit points to deal with those swamp tiles that are going to be everywhere. Because again, you're more likely to have to walk over those to get anywhere, and it's just going to sap away your health. So, you know, some herbs or the heal spell, heal in particular, because heal more does use up a whole lot of that magic points. But yeah, they're definitely going to be wanting, you know, something to heal themselves. And seeing as there isn't really any towns nearby, it looks like that heal spell is going to be their best bet.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. Diabeetus is slugging it out with this Magidraki here, doing chip damage. Meanwhile, Janus is looking more for slightly easier targets. But Diabeetus gets it taken care of, and we have ourselves level 3. So we have 15 power, 1, 0, and 6. So that'll help you punch a few things.
Yeah, that 15 attack power, I mean, that'll make the next Magidrake he finds that much easier to take down. You could probably even start working on these scorpions and stuff. But unfortunately, the hit points, which are going to really open up the exploration opportunities, just weren't there at all.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I think both runners have pretty well figured out that they've got that tile, or the desert right there, and Janet's getting level 4, and I think I noticed a lot of HP in that one, as well as a good bit of magic.
Yeah, it looks like that was a very big HP boost there, and Diabeetus now just also picked up level 4 as well, taking out a scorpion. So both our runners still very, very close. Just maybe 5 or 6 experience points between the two of them as they are exploring. Janus decides to check the left there just to see that it is indeed a dead end.
Yeah, unfortunate, but obviously you want that knowledge because you don't want to have that in the back of your mind as, oh, well, I haven't done that yet, and it could possibly sort of Schrodinger's town or castle or what have you. But now we know that nothing's there.
Absolutely. And it's always good to just take that peek. You know, there might have been a town just, you know, 2 steps to the, or two tiles to the left or whatever. But fortunately, it's just a dead end. So they only have really one direction to go, at least at the very start here, and that is to the east. And they might be grinding in this desert for a while. Of course, hit points need to get there before they can go. These wolves, looks like they're not quite ready for it. I think this is the second time I've seen JanusZeal get taken out by a wolf in that kind of second zone off to the right there.
Yeah, the wolves definitely don't play around early on, especially when we have runners who are already a little weakened from having to walk across the swamp to get there in the first place. It's almost as though they are just ready-made supper at the moment. But once they get some more HP, the tables will turn pretty quickly, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a little bit more attack power as well, so that they can, you know, solidly take it down in maybe 2 or 3 swings. And then those wolves will be very, very tasty at 40 experience a pop. Right now, sticking to Zone 1, I think, is their best bet. Trying to find those scorpions and those Magidrakies are probably good pickings for them right now.
Yeah, we're seeing both runners do that, and they're sort of almost, you could say, just cross high-fiving, I suppose, because I think they're pretty much on the same tiles, just one's vertical and the other's horizontal.
There it is. Yeah, they're just essentially walking in that same spot there. We got another 13 power, 1 response speed, 27 hit points, and 2 magic for JanusZeal at level 5. So it is steadily getting up there with the, you know, both the strength and the hit points, which is what you want to see.
Oh yes, absolutely. I think once Diabetes finds this level, then I think he will be very happy to see those gains as well. And Janus, of course, is going for more levels for themselves to try to boost that even more.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, Diabetus did actually hit that level 5. Decides to go ahead and take the Death Warp in the swamp just to get all of those hit points back. So he's got the full 87 to play with, or as much as he'll have after he gets out of the swamp here. And it looks like he's going to start venturing out. Maybe look for the wolves off to the right there, now that he's got that extra hit points and those extra strength. And I can't say I don't blame him. Again, the wolves are going to give basically twice as much as the other stuff that they're killing right now.
Right. We have our restreamer and tracker Elmore calling for a reseed because of such good HP totals. But, I mean, considering that you plant the runners right in the middle of a big stinking swamp, you got to give them something good.
Yeah, we'll see how it continues. You know, maybe there will be some red dragons or something lurking for him down in those mountains to the south. That'll just make everybody happy, I'm sure.
Yes, I suspect it would.
So it looks like they also learned Radiant spell at level 5. Radiant basically makes it so that it gives them a great big light source, so they don't have to worry so much about having to be stocked with torches to see their way around the dungeons. Diabetes taking out his second wolf, and I must say I do like this play here. He's now widening his experience lead, getting level 6 right there. And 6 also came with pretty good stat gains. Hit points not so much. But I saw an 11, I think 11 magic came out of it, and the spell of sleep, which will be useful for putting some of the stronger monsters down. And you could actually, if you can keep them asleep, take some of them out with the strength that they've got.
Yeah, as Elmore's pointing out, sleep is good for those wolves, absolutely. A Druid getting a sneak attack is not so good, though, so Diabetes gets punted back to the castle, and will probably slog back across and just continue where he is right now.
Yeah, I would imagine maybe taking one more level before starting to venture out. At level 7, it's 337 experience points is the magic number, which will come very quickly if you're killing wolves. But after that, the levels do start spacing out. Level 8's at 600, so you're looking at nearly 300 more experience to go from there. So we'll see how they go with it. But I think at some point, especially with the hit points kind of where they are, we might see them start poking down into that swamp to the south.
Yeah, I could definitely see that, because the southern swamp didn't really seem to be quite so big, quite so treacherous as the starting swamp. So yeah, it's definitely understandable. And Janus, having picked up that level 6, is employing precisely the same tactic, going after those wolves in the second zone.
Yeah, so it looks like Diabetes kind of went for him a little bit earlier, and that's what's allowed him to get that slightly larger lead. and is now dipping down here. Maybe fight some of these Druins as well. Ooh, Druins no hurt more. That's kind of gross.
Yeah, that's not exactly what you want to see, especially when we don't have any consistent healing yet.
And there's wizards down there. I think that maybe going back up to that zone where they were with the wolves might be the better place.
Yeah, I would certainly be doing that myself, especially because you would conceive that a druid would be a slightly more innocuous sort of monster, and then just to get punched in the face like that, yeah, no. I'm going to stay up where it's nice and comfy, thank you very much.
Exactly. These wolves, again, with that sleep spell, these wolves are prime targets. Diabeetus not even opting for the sleep, just punch, punch, punch. It should be 3-shot with the strength that he's at. Oh, 4 shots on this one.
You cursed it!
I did, didn't I? But now he's 1 wolf away from level 7, as JanusZeal also taking out a wolf, but employing that sleep spell, which is going to allow him to, not lose any hit points in that, and he'll be able to fight wolves a lot longer without having to death warp back. So we might actually see Janus sneak from behind and pick up the experience lead, just from doing a slightly more efficient approach towards the wolf.
And chat mentioning that Punch More is the best spell. Well, it certainly is the best spell right now, because that's about all our runners have at their disposal at the moment.
If only you could cast Outside on on the Druid and just send it out, right?
Oh, yeah, sure, of course. Just do what some of the monsters can do in later Dragon Quests and just whisk you all the way back to the castle, or at least some of your party members.
Exactly. It's just modified Expel. And Diabeetus finally hits the next wolf. Tries to cast Radiant on it, but gives it the sleep instead. This wolf will push DiabeetusThe2nd up to level 7. And JanusZeal hot on the heels of that as well. 1 more monster for Janus will also get there. And here comes level 7. It is 11 power, 5 response speed, 10 more hit points, 12 magic. New spell is Hurt.
That means that, technically, Hurt More is possibly in the queue for the next level?
That is correct. Again, our runners' flags that they agreed to was Heal and Hurt before the More versions of it, so it does open up the possibility of a Hurt More coming. And DiabeetusThe2nd does find a couple of caves just to the south of the swamp. I think maybe 12 tiles of swamp to get there, so while this Gold Man is going to do a Dragon Lord 2 breath and send him back, Diabeetus is going to have full hit points and will probably make his way straight on back to those caves. See if he can't pick up some treasure, maybe find some Erdrick's armor in there.
Also, apologies to chat. I claimed that the Southern Swamp was a little bit better than the swamp that they started with. I was clearly wrong.
Yeah, again, this with this big swamp flags on, I want to say that big swamp means that I think it's something like 60 or 75% of all the tiles will be swamp tiles.
Thus your emphasis on possibly picking up Erdrick's armor in one of these caves.
That is what they want more than anything. And there's a town right there, so everything right there. And the town on the right side of a swamp could make for a nice little base of operations if he can get away from this Star Wyvern, which he does. And it's the town of Rimmildar. This is huge. So
Hello, keys!
Yeah, exactly. Rimmildar is where you can pick up keys. With 151 gold, you can afford 2 of them. Taking a look at what's at the shop here, has opted not to purchase anything. Yeah, I would spend all my money on keys, first and foremost.
Yeah, I think at Diabeetus' current gold levels, he can afford 2, if I'm remembering my numbers correctly.
Yeah, they're 53 gold each in Rimmildar, so with his 151 gold, he'll be able to pick up 2 keys. He will not be able to use the inn with his remaining gold. So, but I think that getting the 2 keys definitely the better thing to do, and maybe try to take out another monster or see what's in one of these caves. Maybe hopefully find now looking for maybe a gold chest as well. This appears to be the tablet cave, as we see him popping a radiant, and yep, there's 1 chest in here and no monsters.
Also, to play off of Siryu's lovely joke there, if it's a key find, it's definitely helpful because it unlocks a lot of the rest of the seed for us.
Exactly, those keys will unlock a whole lot of doors for our runners. They are the key to finding other stuff. And with that 559, I would not be surprised if he goes right back to Rimmeldar, stocks up on keys. Oh, no, decides to move on to the next cave. Wizard. Meanwhile, JanusZeal continuing to grind that same wolf tiles, and is probably, he's picked up a good amount of experience, and is just slowly plunking the way up to the next level. And it looks like that was Swamp South, and then Diabetes did cast outside, and is now on the other side of the swamp.
To find more swamp.
To find swamp and desert, and got a lucky run from that werewolf there.
I have to imagine if either of our runners are the sort to map their seeds, this would have to be a little bit of a nightmare early on, because a lot of the land that you're trying to get to is in the midst of some very deadly areas that you don't really want to walk through particularly, especially early on.
Yeah, just kind of, if they are mapping, they need to make it. And this is kind of a weird looking map. Like, there seems like there's a lot of wide open spaces. Those are definitely the hardest ones to get your bearings on and kind of remember where were the branch points that I missed and whatnot. And so DiabeetusThe2nd has taken the Death Warp, is going to immediately check the treasury. Let's see what we've got here. We've got a torch, key fund, another key, and some more gold.
All right, so we've got ourselves a grind in play, although I don't envy the walk to try to get to the nearest town with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too bad of a walk once they get through that swamp. There is a few nasty monsters in between here and there in those hills. But the nice thing is that there was a gold chest in there, so the gold grind is available. I think there was a silver shield in Rimmeldar as well. And it also gives him the gold that he needs to stock up on keys as he tracks around to the basement of Tantagel, which is the Staff of Rain trade-in cave. So the key items that our runners are looking for are the silver harp, which they will trade in to that cave underneath Tantagel for the Staff of Rain, as well as the Stones of Sunlight and Erdrick's token. They'll take all three of those to a man who we lovingly call the Jerk, and they will trade in those three items for the Rainbow Drop. The Rainbow Drop summons the Rainbow Bridge to Sharlock and allows them access to the end of the game. Alongside of those key items is Erdrick's sword and Erdrick's armor. Those are the best sword and armor in the game by far. And then they also might stumble across a fighter's ring that gives them a mild attack power boost, a fairy's flute, which puts golems to sleep, and a death necklace, which they can put on to sacrifice 25% of their health for 10 additional attack power.
Well, Diabetes casting hurt there. I'm assuming he thought on instinct that it was heal, but sadly, it did not do what he wished it to do.
It did not, but he was able to get back across. He's back in Rimmeldar, with a little bit of gold in his pocket to use the inn this time. And he'll be able to check this double key-locked chest as well. I don't recall if there was a chainmail, but that might be a good pickup if he can get it. If not, I know for a fact there was a like a small shield in there. It looks like he's not going to go to the shop at all. And that chest was another cursed belt, so that means that we definitely have 2 active search tiles. Meanwhile, JanusZeal has actually reached level 8. I missed it on the screen, but did pick up level 8 just like exactly on the button. And it's another really good hit point gain there. It's like picked up 9 hit points, 1 response speed, 1 strength, and 1 magic point. So all the other stats were not very good, but the hit points are looking like they're already in Dragon Lord tier hit points. So this definitely is a Death Necklace viable seed, should they find it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been the one real saving grace so far, because I mean the other stats, the strength is rolling okay right now, but you don't really have a lot to do with the magic because we don't have any heal spells. So I mean, obviously you have hurt, but that's really about it. So at very least the HP has been there for them so far.
And it looks like this zone where these caves are has some pretty good stuff in it. The Magiwyverns are susceptible to the sleep spell and can be chopped down pretty amply with that. And, you know, Diabeetus taking on the Warlock. That's a pretty decent enemy to take at this level as well. Goldman, again, you need to get away from that one because it knows the Dragon Lord 2 breath. And Diabeetus going to try to make it back to town to take a rest.
And does make it, although that fire-breathing Goldman sure tried his hardest to try to block that access.
Yeah, absolutely. Goldman, of course, gives 255 gold, but only 6 experience points, so very rarely do you see them get taken out. And JanusZeal making their way into Rimmeldar and gonna pick up their stockpile of keys. I'm not sure what the gold situation is looking like on Janus' side. Oh yeah, Janus has plenty.
Janus had the same number or same amount of gold as my work number, or my classification number at work, so that's something, I guess.
There you go. Maybe it's a sign. We'll see. That there's a whole lot of work ahead for JanusZeal to get through this big old swamp.
I mean, I would consider that a fait accompli anyway, but yeah, we'll take what we can get, I guess.
Janus also getting the cursed belt as Diabeetus dodges a wizard and is heading back to the inn. And Janus is going to give us a second shot to look at what's for sale here. And is going to pick up the small shield. Probably small shield, leather armor, and the club. Yeah, there's the leather armor. And there's the club. So kind of the adventurer starters kit right there. Club, small shield, and leather armor. Gets a little bit more protection, does a little bit more damage. Nothing overwhelmingly OP, but every little bit helps.
Yeah, EMP, the items would suggest that it's vanilla. The gigantic, stinking morass of a swamp outside the castle doesn't particularly. Asking if Diabeetus had gotten anything from the weapon shop. I don't recall Diabeetus having bought anything.
Yeah, I don't think Diabeetus got anything from the shop there. Took a look the first time, but had just barely enough gold for keys, and I don't think has returned to the actual store since. And that Magiwyvern will take Diabeetus to level 8 and beyond, get his 9 hit points and paltry everything else, and it looks like he's going to continue the grind there.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised considering what this seat has thrown at them so far. You definitely want to make sure that everything is good to go. And is continuing to top off at these inn visits.
Yeah, and you know, it's a fairly decent play. Those Magiwyverns are definitely good eats at 83 experience each, and being able to just put them to sleep. It's not a bad zone to be in. But it looks like Diabeetus is actually gonna make it into the swamp again. I think this is the swamp.
Yeah, this is Swamp South.
I'm gonna walk up this time instead of casting the outside spell, so I'm not sure if we're gonna see a spike tile get checked, or... Oh, no, there's outside. Maybe he was just looking to see what monsters he might see in there. It could potentially be another viable zone, but seeing the wizard decides, nope, let's get out.
Yeah, definitely understandable.
And meets a blue dragon going south of the exit there. Meanwhile, JanusZeal gets a big dodge against an armored knight and is going to kind of go through the swamp, looks like to the south and west.
Yeah, I had thought earlier that Diabeetus might actually be heading that direction, but he did not. So it'll be interesting to see what they see as we go through. Well, oh, hello.
we've got Cave Town. It's Cantlin. Meanwhile, Diabeetus finds a town on the other side of the swamp. So JanusZeal meets Cantlin. Cantlin has 3 shops to find equipment at, and so we'll probably see some shops getting checked, as well as an old man that will tell us coordinates for one of our search areas, one of our search tiles. And I have a feeling Janus probably looking for large shield, and does find one and picks it up. I think they picked it up. Oh no, DiabeetusThe2nd gets taken out by a star wyvern just steps away from that town. Ended up having to cost him a couple of herbs as well.
Yeah, that was a really unfortunate wipe because Diabeetus was literally 1 step away from discovering what that was, so probably we'll head straight back for it, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would think so. It's kind of a long walk through the swamp, and he did use, I want to say that was his only herb. I'm not sure where they found an herb at. I think there might have been one in the treasury. And JanusZeal has found the mountain cave. Mountain cave has 5 chests inside of it. The treasure was a torch, I think you're right. I'm not sure where, I saw him use an herb. I'm not sure where he got it from, though. And we've got our 3rd cursed belt. So, at least from our commentator's point of view, we do know that all 3 search tiles are active and in play. Ah, yeah, maybe the herb was in the throne room.
Yeah, I was about to mention that, and chat kind of beat me to it. But yeah, the herb was one of the items in the throne room.
And so that's kind of like their only herb until they find another town, which Janus did find, and there's stones of sunlight in the 2nd chest of the mountain, and then he's going to go over to the double chest, see what they can find there. Ooh, the Wraith Nose Baby Breath. Golem. And picks up a gold and a fighter's ring, and is going to immediately put that fighter's ring on. Fighter's ring, of course, gives you 2 attack power, and that's a permanent boost. So once they equip the fighter's ring, they can then sell it, and it still gives them the 2 attack power. And this golem is not going to allow JanusZeal to see the final chest. So we'll see if Janus leaves it orphaned, or if they go back. It'll be interesting to see kind of how they decide to go about this. Because it is a long walk through a big, long swamp to get back there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have sort of similar circumstances on both sides with orphan chests, so... but Janus does go ahead and take advantage and start that gold grind.
Yeah, absolutely. With Rimmeldard just to the south having the silver shield, that's definitely a great play to make there. I don't recall if there was other stuff like a magic armor or a flame sword available. I think maybe just a broadsword.
A magic armor definitely was available.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll likely see Janus go all the way up, and that magic armor will also be a very welcome get. The magic armor has all of the stats of the full plate armor, plus it reduces hurt and hurt more spells by 1/3. And every 4 steps you walk, you regain 1 of your health, which can help offset a little bit the damage taken from the swamp. Doesn't offset it much, but it offsets it, you know, a little bit.
I mean, hey, considering how much of it there is, a little bit is definitely better than nothing.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, it looks like Diabeetus was having a little bit trouble getting back to this area. He took several deaths on the way down, and might be... I'm not sure if he's making his way back to the cave or if he's trying to grind here.
Considering the direction that he was going, I think he is going straight back for the cave.
Yep, looks like. Yep, pops outside immediately and is going to continue down that direction where he saw the town earlier. It looks like JanusZeal just doing the full grind. I think maybe they saw a flame sword in the shop in Cantlin.
Yeah, and that makes sense considering that there are 3 shops to choose from. So, yeah, smart move on Janus's part, going ahead and just going for the full Monty. I suspect we're probably about to see a save here and then a journey for all of that equipment.
Absolutely. And the save is solid here. At the very least, they'll definitely be able to get the Silver Shield and Magic Armor, even if they die once or twice on the way. The last one, you might have to come back and save again, just because it is a long, treacherous journey to that area. So we'll see how it goes for them. Definitely going to be keeping a lookout. But if Janus can get all of that equipment, that will definitely squarely put Janus in kind of the driver's seat at this point.
Yeah, so far this seed has been pretty back and forth considering how the runners have done exploration and what they've seen and what they haven't. But I think at this point in time, Diabetes is a slight XP lead, but that's going to go away pretty quickly once Janus gets all this equipment.
Absolutely. I mean, just the defensive power alone is going to be huge to just being able to take way less damage. You'll be damage breaking tons of stuff now. Which just allows the grind and whatnot to go, that much faster. And Janus did make it to Rimildar, and so we will see the purchase of 1 Silver Shield. And 1 Magic Armor. And a quick trip to the inn to top off all those hit points.
Yeah, I like this play too because, of course, they knew the town was there, and they know they're going to Cantlin to get the flame sword next. But no sense in not taking advantage of a town that is not too far from your relative location to be able to top off all the health and essentially have twice the health that you did have going into the walk to Cantlin.
Absolutely. Trying to take on that Magi Wyvern there, Janus was. It only hit him for like 11 damage, so we can already see how that extra, 44 defense power that they have over Diabetes right now is helping a lot. Oh, and it looks like that Cantlin was not as far over as I thought it was. For some reason, I thought it was a much longer walk, but it's actually fairly close. Armored Knight, though, says,
Close, you say?
And just like that, JanusZeal denied the Flame Sword. I don't think I would reset here, because that's a lot of time. But that definitely takes away the Flame Sword money.
Yeah, I wouldn't reset here simply because you already got the Magic Armor and the Silver Shield. And of course, that's going to help in and of itself trying to grind or just travel around. But yeah, that had to have hurt just, 2 or 3 steps away from Cantlin and getting that sword.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, the mountain cave is right there. There is the 1 orphan chest. So it's easy enough to go ahead and just reset up the gold grind, grab the extra 3k, and make your way back one more time. And Diabetes does pick up level 9. Looks like there was 4 strength, 8 agility, looks like 3 hit points, and 4 magic points. No new spells.
So another, a rather modest level as all things are considered, considering how much HP that we've seen already.
Yeah, not too great there. Janus does pick up the broadsword in Cantlin, though, so a nice consolation prize. Broadsword going to be doing a whole lot more damage than the club. It's going to use the fancy, expensive 100 gold in, and I think we're going to probably see a coordinate check here, because I don't think Janus has checked the coordinates yet.
I have not seen any coordinate check, no. So after topping off some herbs, I would figure so as well.
DiabeetusThe2nd gonna try again to make it to that town over there.
And it just, I guess this in a nutshell really is the difference in just taking one different direction from a walk, because Janus going left in that swamp, in the first big swamp, has pointed the way to Cantlin and the mountain cave and the gold grind, and has gotten all these items, whereas Diabetes is banking on whatever this town is, and has just had so many problems getting there as an armored knight murders him again.
I missed that coordinate. It looks like 103.52. I'm not sure what the north and the east was on that, but that is a very long walk, almost certainly going to require the rescue of a princess.
Absolutely, especially considering that we know precisely where Gwaylin is sitting, and it's not very far from home.
Chat mentioning negative count hype. I don't know, with this with this big swamp going on here, even the negative count and the 53 away. Like, first you'd have to get your 53 right. Then you'd have to get to the entire other end of the map. And so DiabeetusThe2nd has been denied, I want to say 3 times now, just within a few tiles of that second town. We'll see if he continues to try to make it there, or if he decides to do some exploration in a different direction. Right now, he's got the 250 or so, maybe 300 point experience lead, but JanusZeal, with that broadsword, magic armor, and silver shield, is going to be able to make short work of a lot of these monsters. In fact, is taking on a blue dragon right now, I think. Oh no, he's running. Try taking a swing.
Janus did take a swing, and it was 14, I think. So that's when the tide turned on that one.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Probably not with herbs. Probably not beating that damage race.
No, I wouldn't figure so myself.
Chat already predicting that the town that Diabeetus is going to be Hawksness. That would be the ultimate troll of all trolls. At least if it's Brecconary, there's an inn to heal up.
Yeah, I get the feeling if Diabeetus, if it is indeed one of those 2 towns, you may be able to hear Diabeetus screaming halfway across the country.
Absolutely. SarahUX asking about the healless seed. It is the hurt and heal before the more variants. So before they can even learn the heal more spell, they would need the heal spell. But you're right. I mean, we are now at level 9, and we still haven't seen heal just yet. Diabeetus gets sent home again, and it has got to be just like, oh, I feel like I'm just beating my head against a wall. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting because Diabeetus has a pretty clear experience lead right now of a little over 200, but that's really about the only way in which you could say that Diabeetus has any sort of a lead at this point, because his focus has been so much on getting to that mystery town, which is sadly still a mystery. And unfortunately for him, Janus has just been able to take care of a little bit better exploration, or at least exploration in another direction, and has just been able to surge forward from there.
Yeah, it looks like Diabeetus has decided to go a different direction, and it's a different direction that Janus went, but the wizard is saying no. So it's just everywhere that Diabeetus has turned, he just cannot catch a break. Question in chat, can you get heal and heal more on the same level? Less than or equal to, or just less than? So to answer your second question, less than or equal to, or just less than? Yes, it's one of those 2. I'm really not sure which.
Touche.
Although I think that Elmore St. James is saying that yes, it could potentially be in the same level. But to be honest, I'm not sure. The wording says before, but I don't know.
So Diabeetus is just about to find Cantlin in the mountain cave, and cue the scream, everybody.
Arg! But this will be good for Diabeetus. Gives him an opportunity to get some catch-up here. Is going to check the shop. He'll see that there's a magic armor there, broadsword there.
So if he gets some ketchup, does that mean he's going to get some mustard on the side?
You know, maybe. A little bit of mayo and some relish to go alongside that. It could be good. Make a tasty hot dog.
A tasty swamp sandwich with the requisite condiments this evening.
It was just Labor Day weekend. We've all got hot dogs on the brain. So sees kind of that there's magic armors, there's flame swords in all these shops. Probably herbs would be the first thing that I would be looking for. And it looks like that's where Diabetes is going to go. And then we'll probably check and find those really far away coordinates. And then hopefully check the cave and get his gold grind set up.
Yes, Paul, I believe somebody did say hot dogs. Unfortunately, my Labor Day was mostly spent working, so alas, no hot dogs for me.
Ah, so yours was a day of labor. That's unfortunate, but at least we've got some work in, I guess.
Yeah, and we've also found Healmore, just not for us.
Is that the wizard knew Healmore?
No, the Metal Scorpion knew Healmore.
Oh no. And Diabetes not going into the mountain cave there, opting to do a little grind here. I guess he's happy seeing these monsters that he can kill, the Warlock, the Metal Scorpion. They're not necessarily the highest XP yielding things that you could find right now. Meanwhile, JanusZeal just taking full advantage of all of the equipment that they've picked up and has already taken back that experience lead and more. We've seen about a 500-point experience swing from just a few moments ago.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably been about 5 minutes, and it's just changed completely. So, yeah, Janus is definitely seizing the reins here at this point, and I think is pretty well placed to continue on with that. But Diabetes has a metal slime that'll probably change the XP at least a bit.
Yeah, if he can take it down, this metal slime definitely deciding to take his time with it, and it runs away after, I think, 2 damage. Typical slime.
Of course.
So DiabetusThe2nd does get through the slime, picks up the first cursed belt chest in the mountain. I think that gives Diabetus the knowledge as well that there are 3 cursed belts. Grabs his Stones of Sunlight from the chest 2. Meanwhile, JanusZeal picking up level 10. Three, 1, 4, 3, and the spell is not heal.
Chad asking how they not seen the Shy Guy sprite. Yeah, that is one of the lovely things about this game is that you can have all sorts of nice sprites for your hero or heroine. And Shy Guy, I think, is one of the favorite ones I've seen so far.
Yeah, there are tons of sprites, and they are just programmed right into the randomizer. You don't need to do any special, editing of your ROM aside from, putting it through the hacker. So yeah, it's pretty fun. You get to kind of express yourself with many of your favorite NES sprites from the NES era.
And we saw Diabetes check that final chest in the mountain cave that had eluded Janus, and unfortunately just finds a torch.
So at least he has the knowledge. He's full cleared it. Blue Dragon sends him back, and I would assume we'll see ourselves a gold grind happen on DiabetusThe2nd's side, which will allow him to more or less catch up, at least in terms of equipment. But he does still have that he will still have that experience as experience kind of deficit as JanusZeal continues to take out monsters. But once Diabetus gets this, in terms of exploration and whatnot goes, they'll essentially be tied. Diabetus maybe have a slight exploration advantage just because he knows where that town is, even though he hasn't been able to get into it.
Yeah, with Diabetes being able to do the gold grind here, yeah, that will catch up the equipment. And what doesn't quite even the seed out, but gets it fairly close, although it looks like Janus is about to go into the northern realms that Diabetes got kicked out of just a little bit ago.
Yeah, there's a lot of Sharlock monsters out here, which is not what you want to see in a big swamp seed. Able to dodge that Armored Knight again, which is pretty impressive with the 49 agility. Trying to eke their way around and not step on swamp tiles that they don't need to. And we found Charlotte Castle, guarded by a back-attacking armored knight that says, "You've seen too much. Go home."
Yes, nothing to see here, really.
All right, meanwhile, Beatus continuing that gold grind, probably going to go up to the max because, again, he has seen the Flame Sword in Cantlin as well as the Silver Shield Magic Armor in Rimmeldar. Money printer go burr.
Yes, our runners have found themselves a very friendly mint, which they've taken advantage of.
So did I say 35? I meant 32. Yes, Janus has gotten keys, but Janus may have spent his last key. I'm not certain why that's not popped up on the tracker.
Yes, Chad asking if Diabetes saw the last chest. Yes, he did. That's how we know that it's a torch, because I don't think Janus has gone back for that chest yet.
Yeah, Janus opting to just leave it be where it is. Doesn't really have a reason to go back into the mountain cave at this point. It's just one chest when there's, you know, the whole grave still out there, as well as Garenham. And what else is still outstanding in terms of chests? Well, we haven't seen any of the search spots, so that's 3. The 5 in the grave, the 3 in Garenham, the 1 in the bonus cave. So there's still quite a bit out there.
And Harrison mentioning there's not a separate tracker. Nope. No, we have Elmore pulling double duty tonight.
So make sure to give him 2 follows and 2 subscribes when you go visit Elmore's channel. And also, you can go ahead and give a click to our runners as well. DiabeetusThe2nd and JanusZeal, their links are in there. Support their streams, give them a follow. Both play this randomizer and others fairly regularly, as well as Elmore St. James, who is our tracker and restreamer. Myself, Velu V, and Karant, we're all on there. We all play this stuff. So, you know, show the love, hit that follow button, and, you know, you can check out some Dragon Warrior and other fun streams.
Oh, y'all's are definitely fun. I try to make mine fun. Sometimes I'm successful.
Mine is, well, I don't know. Sometimes me screaming at the... Not screaming, but, you know, being frustrated at these seeds.
Yeah, I get the feeling all of us toss salt around every now and again.
I think, like, you can't play Dragon Warrior Randomizer if you're not just a little bit sadistic and like to feel kind of that pain that it likes to bring. And just like that, DiabeetusThe2nd has magic armor, silver shield, and I think that was a flame sword pickup.
Yes, that was a flame sword. So the equipment is now pretty much equal. Now it's just a question of who gets the exploration first, who gets around the swamp. Of course, now Janus knows where Charlock is, so that helps. And I think Diabetes will start probably closing that exploration gap fairly shortly as well.
Yeah, Diabetes also opting to sell off those cursed belts, get rid of the stuff in the inventory. Picks up a dragon scale. Puts it on immediately. And I'm not sure if Diabetes... Yeah, I think Diabetes is now going for a coordinate check. Has not quite talked to this old man yet. 103 south, 52 east.
Yeah, that has to feel bad. I would certainly have I would certainly have wedding bells going off in my head if I saw that number, because I know that I'm going for the princess at that point.
Exactly. Call the caterer, get the flowers, and we're gonna throw ourselves a big old wedding, royal style. Get your fancy hats.
Also, Elmore mentioning level 11 for Janus, 19 agility, 14 strength, 6 HP, and 18 MP, if I'm reading my numbers correctly. So a pretty nice level all around. Well, mostly around.
Yeah, and you can see those numbers now starting to creep into the orange. Of course, hit points are already Dragonlord viable. What our color coding means, white just means it's, you know, a regular you're leveling up stat. The orange means that you're getting close to Dragonlord viable, and the green means it's more or less good to go for the Dragonlord. So stats are definitely getting there. Just need to find all the other stuff. In fact, this game, or this seed, is starting to look like, you know, the limiting factor, and as would be expected in a big swamp, the limiting factor is going to be the exploration. And the sooner they can get that done, the sooner they can settle into a grind somewhere, and you know, go take on Mr. Sharlock himself, the Dragonlord.
Yeah, chat mentioning about Janus's grind here. Both of our runners have found this zone to be pretty good to grind in. We have now, I believe, seen the swamp tile, and I think it was a red dragon, if I remember correctly. So the princess may be getting rescued, but she may not be getting rescued for a while.
Oh, did somebody check the spike? It was a red dragon. That's not cool at all.
No, not a bit.
Especially with no heal more in sight. As just mentioned in chat, like JanusZeal, level 11, still hasn't seen that heal spell. Of course, heal needs to be learned before heal more. So it's just gonna be going and going and going. Heal more, and hurt more, all at level 16. Because we like to watch our runners sweat. And JanusZeal now just won this Star Wyvern will get Janus to level 12 if he can keep it asleep long enough to chop it down, or if they can.
Yeah, well, I was going to say the Star Wyvern woke up on the second try, so that not going so well, and the werewolf deciding to eat Diabetes for lunch, so whoops.
Well, there we go. Sent back home for both runners. Diabetes, the XP is not looking great in terms of just being well over a full level behind JanusZeal. But he does have all the equipment and the slight bit of exploration knowledge of where to go for another town. He has actually died, I think, 3 times attempting to reach a town on the other side of the swamp cave. So we'll see how that all works out for him. Right now, I think both runners just content to try to grind in this area with the wizards and the Magiwyverns and whatnot.
And we want to give ourselves a big shout out to RPG Limit Break, everybody rating from over there. Please do not spoil the race that y'all just came from. I got to see part of it myself, but don't spoil it for anybody who hadn't seen it, because, well, we'll probably go see it. So just watch 7, 6, 17, and 4 coming for level 12.
And still no healing magic. So for those of you just joining us from RPG Limit Break, we've got ourselves a match between DiabeetusThe2nd and JanusZeal. There wasn't really anything to note inside the treasury. We are using both the Big Swamp and the Heal Before Heal More flags. That also means Hurt Before Hurt More. Our runners were able to set up a gold grind out of the mountain cave, which is just to the west of the town of Cantlin. And they were able to use that to purchase all of the shiny equipment that you see on the screen. But as for the rest, they've just essentially been grinding in this same area, trying to get to a level where they get some healing to be able to find the grave and the other towns. We have seen 3 cursed belts, so we know that all 3 search areas are in play. And as you can see from those coordinates, the princess is definitely going to get rescued.
And for for any runner who may be asking themselves, or any of the viewers who may be asking themselves why there's a 3-level difference between Diabeetus and Janus, the biggest difference so far, I think, is Diabeetus, both of them went through the swamp cave, and Janus went north, found nothing, and so then went back and explored a little bit more around the starting area, which is where they found Cantlin and the mountain cave. Diabeetus went south, found a town, and has lost, I think, 3 or 4 lives trying to get to said town. And because Janus found the mountain cave, was able to do that gold grind earlier, and has been able to open up that XP lead, and until recently the equipment lead from there.
Yeah, exactly. And Diabeetus, just when he saw that town, he went for it, like you said, three or 4 times, and at least 2 of those times died within like 3 tiles of it. Because there's like armored knights and werewolves and some other Sharlock enemies along the way. And of course, it's a big swamp. So Janus now going to, with that repel spell on, makes me think check and see what's on this spike tile. And is going to meet, I think you said it was a red dragon, yeah?
Yep. Maybe not meet that red dragon quite yet, though.
Well, he might, or they might know what it is, because I see them kind of going to maximum health, and yeah, they're going to try to take it down. With 134 hit points, 102 attack power, it might be possible with low rolls. 39 is not what you want to see. But they do get it.
Wow. Well done, Janus. Use those herbs immediately.
Yeah, they'll have to then cast outside and then walk back through it because they don't know return yet, and I don't think I've seen a wing pickup. Otherwise, they have to fight another red dragon.
I would vote for the outside walk back myself.
And sure enough, there it is.
Yes,
kind
indeed,
of surprised
Zarnak.
to see... Go ahead.
I was going to say, yes, indeed, Zarnax. Why not count 155 steps from the castle? That's not hard at all.
And looks like Janus did make it through. Kind of surprised to see that they only used 1 herb there, considering all of the nasty monsters that we've seen about. Maybe trying to just conserve them because, you know, they have to go all the way back to Cantlin to get more. And it looks like Janus will take the princess to the inn in Rimildar to kind of test the waters, I guess, before they get married.
I mean, I'm not sure how Alifgard is on such social mores, but I think I'll refrain from comment on that one.
Hey, what happens in Rimildar stays in Rimildar. Ooh. Unless a Star Wyvern says you're not going to Rimildar at all. Oh, get away.
Well, that was some hair-raising stuff from Janus. Very, very razor edge, and pulled it off.
And so now it's just a matter of walking back up north through the swamp. I don't think they've ever walked this direction through it. All the times that they've gone south through it, they now have to go north to return Princess home. We've got double wizards on the screen.
And almost simultaneous wizard kills.
JanusZeal opting not to fight the red wizard, aka Warlock. And this princess rescue is giving Diabeetus a chance to catch up a little bit on the experience, although Diabeetus will have to rescue a princess himself, so it's not like it's going to be a huge swing, but does give a little bit of an opportunity here.
And while Janus is engaging in the traditional Alifgard honeymoon, every monster, seemingly every Sharlock monster on the map, is wanting to give them a personal escort.
Ooh, this werewolf has the sleep spell.
Yeah, we'd seen that earlier, particularly on Diabetus's end, because I think it was a sleep, it was a sleep punch combo that had killed Diabetus one of the 21 times. But I think that's the first time Janus has seen it.
Yep, and Janus, learning from that, immediately casting a stop spell on the next werewolf that they find. And they're going to try to take it down here. This swing should do it. Yeah. Next level for JanusZeal is going to happen at 4,125 experience points. So starting to get close to that.
Well, it was certainly an odyssey all on its own, but Janus makes it to the castle with the princess and is now going to have Gwaelin's love for their very own.
Absolutely. So that is going to be a great get. We probably won't see that march off 100 South 52 East quite yet, but it's good to have the love in your pocket and just be ready to do it. The only thing I could think is maybe popping through the swamp cave to see if perhaps that puts you close. But otherwise, it might be a long time until we see that actual walk get made.
Yeah, I could see a quick swamp check because, yeah, once you're deposited on the other side of wherever it puts you, that would be an easy way to sort of orient yourself that way.
Yeah, and of course they don't know what all is over there, so it's a place to explore as well. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Right now, it's just slay the wizard. Excellent move, Kaishin Ichinogeki, 120 experience points.
So I'm going to pull the I'm new card and ask a question that will probably have chat absolutely just wanting to throw rotten tomatoes at me. Where does that phrase come from? The Kaishi no Ichigeki?
I think that's the Japanese for excellent move. Like I think that's what it is in the Famicom version. I think. At least that's been my assumption. But it does mean like a really good hit.
Okay, well, considering I only played this game on the OG NES back in the Stone Age, I did not see that, so thank you all. Now I just have to find out where Card's famous 180 phrase comes from, and my knowledge will be complete, I think.
Oh, you know, I had to ask that one too, and I got the answer. Apparently it comes from darts. The announcers for like pub darts are very, very excited about the 180. 180 is the highest score you can rack up with 3 throws of a dart. Hitting the triple 20 3 times in a row.
That makes sense too. I've never really seen darts being run with anybody who would announce them. I've mostly just done them whenever my friends were all busy getting drunk and I was busy preparing to be the designated driver.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty big thing in England, like ESPN level, like stuff over there.
And chat mentioning there are other newbies watching who benefit. Well, good, because I'm definitely one of them. So I have no qualms whatsoever about playing that role if necessary.
718 and the heal spell. JanusZeal reaches heal at level 13, and that is going to break open all kinds of opportunities for exploration, as now they have something to deal with these swamps that isn't going to eat up their limited herbs. And the other side of the swamp is 73 south and 47 east, so that's actually fairly close to where they want to go.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just a few steps east and then just walk down. So Janus, I think, is in really good shape to find these coordinates.
Yeah, this is definitely a big advantage for Janus, being able to hit that heal spell. Has practically all the knowledge that Diabetus has, plus already having the Gwaelin's love, is more than likely going to pick up the coordinate item here. So it looks like it's going to be an uphill battle for Diabeetus moving forward at this point, who is still continuing to just grind in that area where we've seen both of our runners kind of hanging out for pretty much the majority of the last hour and 5 minutes.
So it looks like Janus is not really focusing on the coordinates right yet, just got a good idea of what they were coming out of the swamp cave, and now is heading for exploration, and looks like we'll reach that town of Breckenary. Hi, Motel 6.
Yeah, I mean, it is a nice, cheap 6 gold inn. They can purchase ferry waters here if they choose to do so. And, you know, ferry water wouldn't be a bad thing to stock up on. Just... You know, if you want to dive down, if you think you'll be repelling enemies in Sharlock, which at 84 DP, they'll be at least repelling the wizards. Probably don't want to be using it right now because those wizards are good eats. And, yeah, Janus just continuing on, I think, is going to maybe check and see where they're at. Yeah, here comes the Gwaelin's Love. .9086, so has to get down to the south and then backtrack a little bit. And I think that's what had happened. I think the southward exploration had gotten cut off by that mountain range there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. How do we get back over there? Is it around to the south? Is it around to the north?
I think it is a little bit to the south of the swamp cave, because you were mentioning a mountain range. I don't think the mountain range was blocking quite that much, so probably we'll wrap back around here and find it at this point after going after an armored knight.
Might as well at this point. The hit points are there. It has a touch of healing, and the attack power is there to do it in a few swings. It's cutting it to the right to the wire. It dodges. Oh no.
Oh man, the fun police, well, at least the deputy of the fun police is showing those gymnastic skills tonight.
Absolutely. He's got the hollow points out. AK-47, just mowing down JanusZeal there for the miscalculation of where to go for the coordinate check. We'll see if Janus decides to continue off in that same direction. I imagine that they would. Just, you know, it's a thing that they know where to go to get a key item that could potentially be that Erdrick armor.
Yeah, if I'm in their shoes, I'm doing the same thing because I know relatively where it is, and with those coordinates now, I beeline, and that looks like that's what they're doing.
And maybe try going a little more south instead of going east this time. Uh-oh. Oh no, they're in the right place. 103.58 west. Need to back up like 5 or 6 paces there. And it's the armor. That's huge for this swamp seed.
Yeah, this is enormous. And a town, too.
2 towns.
2 towns!
They found Hawksness, which it might as well check that tile now. If you're feeling like taking on armored knights earlier, you're probably feeling like taking on one right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Looks like we have the grave for Diabeetus, and we've got some fairy water in that first chest.
Also, very interesting. Diabeetus has found the grave of Garen. I did not see where it was, but it must be in that initial continent area. He grabs a dragon scale there. And an empty. Meanwhile, JanusZeal healing up before checking out the tile in Hawksness, and it's a stone man, and they know sleep. Opting not to cast it. Oh, and it's hurt. It's a hurt stone man. This stone man becomes kind of a viable grind in that, you know, with hurt, it's not going to be doing too much damage to you. And, you know, it does take quite a few swings to bring it down. But you could essentially just sit here and grind it forever and ever and ever and not run out of resources.
So given what we saw from that stone man, and hello, Silverharp, I'm guessing at least 50% hurt, 50% hurt.
I mean, it just did 4 hurts in a row. I would even venture to say a 75% hurt. The second one, we're not sure what the second power would be. I think it can't be hurt and hurt. But it definitely doing a whole lot of hurt.
And yet not hurting much at all given the XP or given the HP we have.
Yeah, and Janus not opting to continue grinding on it, of course, with another town right there potentially being coal and a whole lot of other exploration to do. Maybe keep it in the back of your mind that that's a potential place to go, but exploration kind of more important right now, as Erdrick's token is in the grave. So we've got a key item that Diabeetus has and a key item that Janus doesn't have.
And a key item for Janus that Diabeetus doesn't have, so even Stevens, I guess.
Exactly. Well, except for that whole Erdrick armor thing.
Yeah, that doesn't count for much in a swamp. See? Nah, not at all. Alright, it looks like the token was in that 4th chest in the grave, so we'll find out in just a moment what the 5th chest is and see if it is a key item or if it's just, well, something else.
It's a lucky red dragon dodge right there, as both our runners get 2 good lucky red dragons. JanusZeal on the overworld, Diabeetus in the grave. And it's coal right here next to Hawksness. Bottom of the grave was wings, and the coal search spot is Erdrick's sword.
Well, that removes the onus of Janus not ending up having that flame sword money.
Yeah, absolutely. And Janus now with the best sword in the game, the best armor in pretty much any game, the best shield in the game, is now at the point to where all they need to do is find that grave. That grave has the missing Erdrick's token, and they will be essentially in a grind and go situation. Oh, they still need to find the jerk cave. I don't think we've seen the jerk just yet. So it'll be interesting to see how long it takes Janus to find it. Having the Erdrick's armor makes it all that much more easier, as swamp tiles now do nothing to them except for heal them 1 point. And Diabeetus continuing to have that uphill battle at the, in order to find what Janus did, and essentially Diabeetus needs to get to the other side of the swamp. Needs to decide that it's time to rescue the princess, and that will eventually lead towards kind of where those towns were. Oh, Diabeetus finding another pair of caves here. Oh, must have been in one of those. Must have been the grave, and I'm guessing the other was either the jerk or the bonus.
The other one was the bonus cave.
Gotcha. So jerk is still outstanding.
Well, not too outstanding. That's why we call him the jerk.
Well, he's standing out there somewhere in some little nook and cranny of the world. And that, you know, that finding that could be another key to the seed. I was calling one last night where, you know, the person who was in the lead just could not find the staff trade-in cave and ended up not winning because of that. So it's certainly far from over. And Diabeetus has found a town. Oh, it has found his way to Breckenary.
Yeah, so that means that those double caves were just away from, and Janus has been there too. Janus was the first one to discover Breckenary. So if Janus can make their way over there quickly, then oh boy.
Well, and that also makes this a single continent seed, because this town is the town that Diabeetus kept trying to get to earlier.
Yep, indeed. So Janus is now heading this way, heading south, and we'll find all the nothing that is there. But hopefully for their sake, we'll head north and find the bounty that waits in that part of the world.
Yeah, so essentially Janus needs to go south to find the double caves. Diabeetus needs to travel to the, I believe, to the west to find, you know, Hawksness and the towns and whatnot that's there. Although we'll have maybe a slightly harder time of it, again, not having that armor, which we know is just right over here. Yes, Sloshy, that's right. Diabetes does need to grab that level 13. Once he gets that heal spell, it's going to make things a lot nicer as well. Janus finding the bonus cave, picking up their magic key.
And poor Diabetes walking right by the armor, but not knowing it because hadn't had a chance to rescue Gwaylin and get the Gwaylin's love. But used an herb, and I thought might have been doing a ghetto count, but no, not quite.
Meanwhile, Janus has found the grave and will pick up their token shortly, as I believe it was in. I don't think it was the top chest. I think it was in the chest number 4.
Yeah, it was in the 4th chest.
Diabetes is able to get away from the red dragon, and so we'll be able to pop into Cole here and get their Erdrick sword. JanusZeal had not picked up a dragon scale, but just found one in the grave and does equip it right away. And so what will be interesting on JanusZeal's side is to see if they will nope right on out once they find the token, or if they'll continue down to the bottom of the grave. Because, I mean, I suppose there might be a death necklace waiting for them down there, but once they have the token, they really have everything they need for Sharlock. And there's level 14. And quite big stat gains there. We got 4 strength, 9 agility. Oh, no, wait. I'm reading that wrong. I'm comparing it to level 2 at 12 stats. I'm not sure what it was, but the hit points were huge.
It's 4 to 21.
Aha. Yeah, so that's getting very, very close to Dragon Lord viable. And with a death necklace, it probably would be a go for the Dragon Lord. And there's the token. Of course, they've got to find the jerk. So, sans jerk, this will not work. If you don't find the jerk, it will not work. I'm channeling my inner Johnny Cochran.
I was gonna say, all right,
aside from heal more.
Yeah, well, yeah, we do need that too.
And yes, Tilo, Janus did equip the scale that they found inside the grave. And Diabetes opting to fight this Stone Man. He's doing a little Stone Man grind. Chat asking where was the token. The token was also in the grave. I believe JanusZeal also picked up the token. So Tracker might just need a second to catch up on that.
Yeah, Janus grabbed the token and then immediately exited.
And Diabetes picking up level 13 will be happy to see the heal spell come out of that. Or rather, Diabetes. And it's going to continue grinding Stonemen. And I kind of mentioned that earlier. Like, the Stoneman is a fairly juicy grind because, again, they're not doing any damage and they're a pretty good amount of experience. So at this point, it's kind of like we see Janus exploring here. You know, if it were me, I would probably return back to Tantagel and turn my harp into a Staff of Rain so that as soon as I find the jerk, I can turn in my stuff. It looks like they're just not quite thinking of that right now. But that will mean that they'll have to backtrack back to the jerk once they find it because they do not have that Staff of Rain just yet. And yes, just to update that, yeah, Diabetes does have that Erdrick sword, does not have the armor yet.
Looks like Janus might get to do that turn in after all, just not intentionally, thanks to the golem.
Yeah, let's cross our fingers that Janus does remember to go down there and get that staff. And yeah, they are going in that direction right now. That's perfect. top off the keys while you're there. And Diabetes doing his best to put a dent in this experience deficit. We'll need to get 5,625 to reach level 14. And is just continuing to beat these stone men down, just kind of breaking them down, kind of like on the chain gang, just smashing them with their sledgehammers, breaking down bricks, breaking boulders into stones, stones into dust.
Dust into even finer dust?
Yeah, sure. That works. The question is, what are they doing with all that dust and gravel? I don't, like, is it just to labor and to toil, or are they making roads out of it? Nobody knows.
So now when it comes to us trying to find the jerk, of course, I've noticed chat mentioning before it's most likely in Garenham. I know we haven't seen Garenham, but my question is, have we searched around too much south of the Swamp South entrance?
I don't think they have. Not a whole lot. So that very well might be the direction that they need to go. I feel like there's been a lot of branches that have not been explored. And there we go. There's to the south is just a little dead end there. But there have been, I think, several branches that our runners have not had the opportunity to explore just because of all of the nasty stuff sending them out. And this is where being a mapper can certainly give you an advantage because you have that mapped down. I'm not sure if either of these runners does any actual mapping. I think Diabetes might do some sort of like a branch node kind of a thing. And there, speaking of Garenham, there we go. Janus has found it.
And it was right there. Oh my goodness. So this is really the second time in the seed where just a little bit of a turn left or right would have changed everything. I mean, for Diabetes, for Janus the first time, it meant them finding Cantlin in the mountain cave, and now going back north again and turning a little left, it's meant them finding Garenham.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Janus just finding all the stuff in the right order and just taking advantage of all of the equipment and things to get a steady stream of experience. Diabetes certainly putting a dent in that, now down to only 700 behind. He was I think 15 or 1600 behind earlier, but is still missing out on. He'll need to rescue the princess. He'll need to backtrack back up and get that Erdrick's armor, and he'll still need to find the jerk, which is right here in Garenham. So I think still Janus squarely in the lead there.
Yeah, I would certainly say so. And it's, like you said, it's not irredeemable because Diabetes is very focused in on this grind, which is certainly going to pay dividends. But Janus, with right about that same amount of experience, plus at this point, a very large exploration lead, I think that'll ultimately be the difference in the end. Although, you never know, because stranger things have happened.
Absolutely. And I didn't see what was in the chests in Garenham. I don't think there was a death necklace in there.
No, Janus only checked 2 of the 3 chests. One of them, I think, was a fairy water, and I don't remember what the other one was.
Both fairy waters. And it looks like Janus is opting to fight this red dragon for his spike battle, and for their spike battle, and that also might play into it. The red dragon, maybe not as efficient. It gives certainly much more experience, but the problem is it bites a lot harder, and so they'll have to return for healing more often. Whereas this stone man, I mean, Diabetes has been grinding this stone man for like 15 minutes and has not had to leave for a heal yet.
Yeah, maybe I was going to joke that maybe Janus was counting on that going for a Kaishin all the time because they had just gotten one, but unfortunately the numbers aren't quite working out that way right now.
Yeah, and to be honest, heal more is what they're looking for. Stats are essentially, you could, I think, well, maybe not right now, not without a death necklace. The strength isn't there, but there is a very good chance that level 15 is the go. So, taking out just 3 or 4 red dragons to get there, it makes sense.
Yeah, I'd say if there's any real appreciable strength gain in level 15 plus heal more, then I would say that, yeah, Janus will probably go at that point.
We'll find out in one more red dragon. Death Necklace probably in Sharlock. Yeah, it's Sharlock or that last orphan chest in Garanham. Those are the only things that we haven't seen. DiabeetusThe2nd has found another cave. I'm not sure what cave this is. Oh, Red Dragon decides to send him home there.
Given what Janus is doing right now, and is, of course, trying to get that next level, I'm a little surprised they didn't cast Repel just to get rid of the weaker monsters and go for, you know, more of the knights and the higher level monsters that we've seen so often so far. But it seems to be working out pretty well for them overall.
Yeah, I think just because they are trying to grab a level, and you know, with the defense power where it is, they would actually be repelling quite a bit of stuff. I'm not as good at figuring out exactly what it is, but at 91, I know that it's at least the wizards, which are right now easy, quick eats, and maybe even the werewolves. I'm not 100% sure at 91. And it looks like Janus actually trying to make their way towards Sharlock Castle. So maybe trying to pick up the level along the way. I don't recall if there was a town nearby to heal up or not. And chat confirming 91. They're repelling everything up through green dragons. And here comes level 15. 6 power, 1 response speed, 1 hit point, 37 magic in a row. And the return spell, which means level 16 is required because they need that heal more.
Yeah, that heal more is the only thing standing between either of our runners, particularly Janus right now, and success.
Yeah, and we can see the stats all in the green at this point. This is a completely Dragonlord viable level, except for both more are at level 16.
And interestingly, Diabeetus has rescued the princess and is escorting her straight into the face of red dragons over and over again. So I'm not sure if, you know, Diabeetus, I'm not sure I'd consider that to be a great first date, but you know, that's just me.
Well, you know, he was also one red dragon away from a level, so that gets him level 15, or rather level 15. Yeah. So I mean, actually, interestingly, Diabeetus has closed the experience lead that Janus had. Still needs to take care of all the other odds and ends that Janus hasn't done. But in terms of experience, it's more or less closed up. And Diabeetus turning in the princess and is going to get her love. And we'll use that we'll see if he decides to go into the swamp cave to check. That would be probably my first go-to, and we know that that's the right decision. We'll see what he does. Actually, it looks like he's going to go and get his harp traded in just in case he runs into a jerk along the way. Smart move.
Oh yeah, definitely, considering that he's already here, and going ahead and topping off those keys as well. It's definitely a good thing to do, and it's not a mistake that I have made in a seed. No, not at all.
Have you accidentally spent the last key?
Yeah, it was in a recent seed I did just to whittle around and practice. I did not pick up a key, or I did not pick up enough keys, and I think it locked me out of something important, so I had to go back and basically hang my head in shame as I was doing it.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us. Chat mentioning that really they could dive at this point. and gain the level along the way on the way down, and it really wouldn't hurt them that much, so long as they didn't have to spend a ton of resources going there. And when they get the level, they'll be ready for the Dragon Lord.
Yeah, as it stands right now, looks like I think Dragon Lord stats would be 8 to 16, so it's an average of 12 on right now 16 heal mores. So that would be 14 hits to take down completely on 16 heal mores. So yeah, it's pretty good resources, just lacking the heal more is all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've got my little chart here. It says we're at about 14 swings on average, so definitely good to go.
You have a chart. I just do the math. I'm glad my math actually worked out decently.
It worked out fantastic. Spreadsheet confirmed. And it looks like Janus going to do exactly that. Is making the run for Sharlock right now. Trying to get past this golem. This heal casting golem. And another golem just 2 steps away. And a third golem. It's Golem Alley on the way to Sharlock.
I was gonna say, yeah, apparently the golems just really want to gatekeep Sharlock today.
Well, that Sharlock, the wall around it is the Cantlin wall from the vanilla game, so it could be that they're just kind of homesick for home. And where is Diabeetus? It looks like Diabeetus must have miscounted or mischecked where to go. Did not pick up the armor.
Yeah,
maybe he didn't go through the swamp. Maybe he tried just walking south.
I'm not certain myself, honestly. I was paying a bit more attention to Janus's walk to Sharlock, so apologies, Diabeetus. We weren't sure where you were at that point, but DK mentioning looking for Garanham.
I see. Well, the JanusZeal has made it to Sharlock proper, or at least the first basement of it. Runs into some stone men along the way. Not repelling, I think. I think they would be repelling a stone man. Or maybe stone man is stronger than a green pea.
Hey, I'll have to lean on y'all for that one. It always fascinates me when I'm listening to others doing commentary and they're just able to throw those stats out of thin air, and I'm just sitting here going, I played the game, the vanilla game, never beat it, so the first time I think ended up beating the World of the Dragon Lord was when I played the second half of another Dragon Quest, which shall go unnamed just in case of spoilers.
Fair enough. I think that game's like 30 years old, so I think I don't think you'd be spoiling too much for folks, but we'll just say that there's some continuity between them.
Yeah, well, considering I'd never played said Dragon Quest until I think last year for a charity stream, I could potentially be spoiling it maybe for somebody out there.
Fair enough. And so yeah, it looks like Diabeetus is trying to track down Garanham before going to the Gwaelin spot, maybe hoping that the armor's there and that Gwaelin is the flute. Of course, we know go get your armor, go to the coordinates, and we do see a quick outside through the swamp cave. So hopefully that means Diabeetus is now on the trail. Just use your Gwaelin's love, Diabeetus. You're so close.
And I was going to say, Velavi, I think Diabeetus heard you somehow.
And there it is. Yep. And, I just need to go south a little bit. Meanwhile, JanusZeal fighting some werewolves in the Diamond Room. So it's about halfway through Sharlock. And boom, there's Erdrick's armor. Diabeetus has the armor. JanusZeal, 1 experience point away from level 16. If only he could find a blue slime in Sharlock Castle. Oh no, the red dragon is going to block the run and send JanusZeal back. So they'll have to re-dive here. We'll give them an opportunity to pick up their level before going into Charlock again. I think it's going to be maybe too little too late for DiabeetusThe2nd to catch up. But does throw a wrench into things, knowing that there are red dragons in Charlock Castle. Yeah, chat mentioning should have used the extra MP on a heal more. Of course, JanusZeal was 1 experience point away from heal more and picks it up there at level 16. And is going to make their way straight on back to Charlock Castle.
Yeah, this is definitely the dive for Janus. I have to expect they're probably thinking that, considering they've been all over the world at this point trying to find seemingly everything under creation, I don't know if they feel behind, but I would certainly be hastening myself.
I feel, at least this is me personally, every time I make it to, I always feel behind in these things. But especially like when I start making my Charlock dives, I am consistently looking over to see, did they dot done? Did they dot done? Did they dot done? There's no way I'm winning.
Yeah, I've gotten to where in races myself, I'll just, for instance, if it's a race like this that's on racetime.gg, I'll have the window up and I'll be watching it right up until the beginning of the race. And then when I get a chance, at some point, if there's something going on that I can't really control, or if it takes a little bit of time, I'll just minimize that window and make it real small and just see the timer. And then I will wait until I finish to hit that finish or to go dot done, just to see from there.
Fair enough. And it looks like Diabetes did find Garanham, picked up the chest there. The last chest was either an herb, I think it was an herb, because it said empty, and has picked up his rainbow drop as JanusZeal making the dive into Charlock 2nd time.
And I suspect now we'll be running away from everything.
Yeah, I would expect running. Maybe fight through the reds if you're not comfortable running from them. But with this agility, they should be able to escape, roughly half the time. And they have the MP to burn with the heal mores. So, in fact, here's a red dragon. We'll see what happens. Yep. Took 3 tries, but got away. And it looks like Diabetes grinding on the red dragon in, I think that's the one in the swamp. Janus meeting another red, so it looks like there's lots of reds here in Zone 2.
And Zarnak's pointing out the possibility of races that needed to be reseeded or restarted. That's fair. My mentality on it is, if it's any sort of a race that I'm in, I don't expect to win it. So I don't want to have the likely misery of me losing sitting in front of my face the whole time. Is just my take on it.
All right, JanusZeal has made it out of the diamond. Is now at the branch point. If they were wanting to go to the judges' table, they would go south, but they won't do that. They will go to the one to the left. Into the U room. We're in Zone 3 now. We meet a blue dragon. Blue dragon with Dragon Lord 2 Breath. Twice in a row with the run block.
I was going to say, and very happy to use said DL2 Breath as well, apparently.
Yeah, and that's the second time Blue Dragon has back attacked. That time it just bit him, or bit them. And there's a red dragon, so all kinds of dragons infested in this bottom zone here. In fact, lots of just red dragons all about. I think Zone 2 and 3 both had red dragons. And armored knights. So this not a particularly nice Charlock. The monsters don't have, you know, you know, they don't have super bad, like, you know, sleep spells or things like that. The DL2 on the blue dragon is a little bit of a problem, especially if they keep back attacking.
Yeah, it just mostly seems like a lot of these enemies are, I wouldn't really call them terrible at this point, but I would call them very inconvenient, particularly given how much these runners have had to do already.
Absolutely, and just the you know, the hard time to run from them. A lot of folks like to say, you know, if it's red, just chop it down, especially if you've got health and high attack power. But the agility is also high, so I can also see running from them. And here we are. It's a Stone Man on the spike, so this should be a nice, easy, maybe 3 or 4 swings. And we know it only casts Hurt, so not a whole lot of damage is going to come out of it. And it looks like Diabetes has reached the heal hurt more and will be entering Charlock just as Janus starts the DL1 fight. Janus heal walking, never heal walk. Oh, but it's okay. And Janus actually opting not to go to max hit points before starting this Dragon Lord fight. I'm guessing doesn't want to use up the magic and must be out of herbs.
Yeah, Janus had been using all of the herbs on the way down, so definitely wanting to conserve at this point.
And does not get back attack, so gets his opening swing and starts with a 15. So they're starting out fairly strong there. That takes us to 29. Uh, 30, 41. $51. 61 on the double. $74. 87. 96 on the double. $107. $122. It's pretty much in the bag at this point. 132. Could get it done in 2 swings. Uh, 144. Next swing could do it. And there it is. Dragon Lord taken down. Get those GGs out for JanusZeal for doing a great job of maneuvering through this this big swamp seed. They're just a return away. They will need to listen to the princess talk, but that is a solid victory and a bracket berth for JanusZeal.
So GG's to Janus. We will have an official race time in just a moment as the princess walks across the stage. But thou must.
She's so happy. And we do have an official race time GG time of 1 hour, 44 minutes, and 6 seconds.
So GG's to Janus. We will see if they will join us for an interview shortly. Meanwhile, Diabetes has made it down to the U room and is probably pretty close to a Dragon Lord fight himself.
Yeah, absolutely. So Beatus did a great job of kind of playing catch up there, but it just was a little too late. I think the major thing that set Diabetes back was those 3 or 4 trips trying to get to Breckenary of all places and just getting stopped while Janus was able to explore in a different direction, which allowed an earlier gold grind, an earlier equipment get, and was able to just maintain the lead from there.
Yeah, it looks like so far, of course, until running into this armored knight who seems to be making a liar out of my thoughts. But I was about to say that Diabetes up to this point seemed to have had a much friendlier Charlotte dive. Had been able to run away from things and had still kept herbs, but of course the armored knight decided to, well, make a fool out of me.
Those armored knights, they like to make a fool out of us all, I think. But stone men aren't too bad to run into. In fact, Diabetes is going to see one more stone man on this spike tile. Uses the herb just in case. It's going to give the old punch. Alright, so Diabetes has vanquished his Guardian Stoneman, meets a red dragon in the point right before, and is now going to be declared fool. And welcome in JanusZeal. Congratulations on your victory. You've secured yourself a berth in the bracket phase. And tell us, what were your initial thoughts on this big swamp seed?
I was definitely happy to see that there was, actually a lot of swamp around the start. A little disappointed we had, enough desert to grind in, but it also made it, nice.
So you were looking for the 3-hour seed, but you only got the hour 45. Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot better than one of my practice seeds I had where there was no swamp around Tantagel, so I'll take it.
Fair enough. Well, yeah, you did an excellent job moving forward. Were there any highlights for you, aside from seeing the swamp around Tantagel, but any highlights going through where like, yeah, I'm glad I made this choice, or anything like that?
I'm glad once I hit, I forget what the HP total ended up being. It was like 113, 120 or something. I knew we had a bunch of attack. I think I made a really good call of just going and trying to just damage race that red dragon to save Gwaelin.
Yeah, that actually was very heads up. You kind of realized I've got enough hit points to do that, and the attack power, you're right, was there to just power through it. I think you finished that fight with like 3 hit points left, which was plenty enough to get down to the princess and whisk her back. And of course, Erdrick's armor being on the other side of that Gwaelin's love made that a huge play for you. Diabetes did not get the armor until kind of just right before go mode for the Dragon Lord, so that definitely helped you out there.
Yeah, it made searching for Hawksness and Cole and everything on the second continent so much smoother, for sure.
Yeah, once you have that armor on a big swamp seed, it definitely makes life a lot better. And Diabetes is just closing out his Dragon Lord 2 fight. Really, the major thing in this seed that put you ahead was early on, you guys kind of diverged in your exploration. Diabetes opted to go through the swamp cave and kind of seen where Breckenary was, and kept trying to get there, but kept dying. Whereas you went off to the west and found Cantlin and the Grave, were able to do your gold grind and just get that equipment and start taking advantage of that. And just here, it looks like DiabeetusThe2nd has taken down his Dragon Lord and is going to be finishing up as well. So get those GGs out for DiabeetusThe2nd as well. And we'll see if we can get him in here for a commentary as too. But back to you, Janus. So this victory secures you your 3rd victory. So you are guaranteed a place in the brackets. You kind of get a week of rest before going into kind of the round of 16. Do you have any thoughts going into the bracket phase?
Just really excited to see who I end up getting paired against. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely, we're all kind of waiting with bated breath to see what those brackets are going to look like. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to share it with us until all of the play-in races, so we'll have to keep our eyes open on that for all the races to finish up. But yeah, definitely excited to see all of the pairings and what we'll have moving forward there. And it looks like DiabeetusThe2nd has also joined us, so welcome in, DiabeetusThe2nd. Good game. Finishing just 5 minutes, 5 minutes and 1 second behind JanusZeal. You were just entering Charlotte Castle as Janus was just starting their Dragon Lord 1 fight. So well played. What were your initial kind of thoughts going through it before we kind of spoil what happened there?
Sure, thanks. First, GG to Janus. This was not an easy one by any means. Excuse me. I guess initial thoughts, the opening wasn't actually that bad. I think I spent a lot of time in zone 1 to the east and didn't make the play to check elsewhere soon enough. And I think that's probably the big divergence point, or at least a possible divergence point where I lost potentially a lot of time.
Yeah, so actually in the very, very early game, you, Diabeetus, I believe, started fighting the wolves in the wolf zone 1 level earlier than Janus did. So at the very, very start, you kind of did build up, like 100 points or so of experience, maybe 150 of experience lead, which was a lot at that point in the game. Then you both kind of migrated down to the area with the Magi Wyverns around Rimmildar and the 2 caves that were there, or the cave that was there. But the really big divergence happened when Diabeetus, you went through the swamp cave and saw that town, which ended up being Breckenary. And I want to say 3 or 4 times you died within steps of it without seeing what it actually was. Whereas Janus had explored to the west and found Cantlin and the Grave, and so was able to activate that gold grind, get that equipment, and start making use of that to really start picking up lots of experience much faster with the magic armor, the silver shield, and turned out to be a broadsword for Janus. So that's really where the major divergence occurred in the seed. But all in all, I mean, you still did a great job of keeping up and really catching up. You were behind by maybe 2,000 experience points. And just your choice to go for the Stone Man grind, you were able to catch up a bit there. So it was certainly exciting to watch. But yeah, that was kind of the big point.
Yeah, that doesn't entirely surprise me. Once I started going in that direction and saw Cantlin and Mountain Cave, I knew right then and there, it's like, well, I'm way behind. And that's what I meant by not making the play to check out zone 2. Because it turned out I think that zone was much better. Because the good thing about the wolf zone is the wolf was there. The bad thing was everything else was garbage. At least zone 2, if I remember correctly, was Warlock, Dracula, Metal Scorpion, multiple things that you could fight in desert tiles, right near a town that you could heal and buy herbs and such. So that was a great find. And you also mentioned Mountain Cave right there. You're able to get a gold grind and get equipment. I think I did that at 45 or 50 minutes, and I very easily could have done it at 15 to 20. But you also mentioned dying outside of Breckenary, I think 3 times within 3 steps was a big hurt. It's one of those situations where I probably tunnel visioned a little bit too much, but it's hard because you've already seen Rimmildar, and keys didn't really matter since keys did matter. I mean, they were very important, but when you're thinking about towns and potential areas for advancement, I mean, I probably can't take out anything in Hawksness, but if it's Cole, at that point, if it's Cantlin, if it's Garenham, it's multiple checks, it's, potential for equipment, it's potential for Erdrick's sword, Erdrick's armor, so it's hard to not push that direction, but yeah, a little too unfortunate.
Yeah, absolutely. But at the end of the day, it was definitely a very good race. Again, you finished just 5 minutes behind. You were diving Charlock right as Janus was finishing up, so it was definitely by no means a runaway. So both of y'all did very well for a rather challenging seed. Lots of nasty monsters in the overworld to contend with, as well as the swamp, as well as not getting any healing until level 13. So it was definitely a good one to watch. We already checked in with Janus. For you, Diabeetus, so that puts you at at 2 wins going into the final bit, which means you will have to go into a play-in race. What are your thoughts for that big play-in race to try to grab a berthing?
Well, it's not a position that I necessarily wanted to be in, but at the same time, there's lots of opportunities. I'm not sure exactly what the numbers will turn out to be, but, a number of spots are available, and realistically, if you get through that and you get into the brackets, there's no easy outs. It doesn't matter, to be perfectly honest, whether you're 5-0, 4-1. I guess the 5-0 gets the bye, but there's plenty of runners at 4-1, 3-2, or potentially even coming in from the play-in that are going to be awesome and very tough outs. So we'll just have to see how it goes.
Very good. Yeah, any other final comments on the seed before we kind of look at what's coming up on the schedule and let us out?
The other one thing I can think of, and just based on the time, it wouldn't have mattered. It would have made up some time, but probably not the balance. I did give thought to diving at 15 and picking up the level on the way. It probably would have gained, because we had so much extra in the way of resources. Just the scary thing about that is if you get, trapped by a red dragon or an AK or a blue dragon or something, you could be in trouble. And man, did I do that on the top floor. I think I burned half my herbs and 2 heal mores just getting to the stairs. So, like I said, I don't think it would have made a difference, but at least potentially would have saved a minute or two. It would have been an aggressive play. I did feel behind, but, we'll get him next time. Like I said, GG to Janus. It was probably a really good race, I hope. And we'll get him next time.
Yeah, I actually was in Charlock at 15 with only like 1,000 XP to go, and I did die to a red dragon on the way down before I got heal more.
Janus, you not only died to a red dragon, you died to a red dragon 1 experience away from your heal more.
Yeah.
So it's funny that y'all mentioned that. Well, very good. So again, thank you guys for a great race and very well raced. You can see we've got the schedule up. Next up tonight, for kind of the Night Owls Classic, we've got Lavkian versus Ryguy 3745. That's another 2-2 race, so definitely going for all the biscuits on that race there. Tomorrow, September 8th, we're going to have at 7 o'clock, there's going to be Sparkover versus Cyberdark 86. At 8:30, we've got Lord of the Synth versus Marashu. And at 21:30, that's what, 9:30?
9:30.
Yeah, there we go. 9:30, we've got Jacobus versus Big Slamoo. And we're scrolling down just a little bit on September 9th at 9:30. There's going to be Brian Williams 42 versus the Seawolf 1. At 4 o'clock on September 10th, we're going to have Archfield Monk versus Aaron 2U2 for a nice afternoon battle. At 7 o'clock on the 10th, we've got Chromaticalism versus Commander Leonhardt. At 11 o'clock on September 11th, so at 11, we've got Harrison versus Asmati Games. At 3 o'clock on September 11th, there's going to be Betastrep versus Starman. And then at 23:59, the last minute of the possible race that could be, we've got Nimunva versus Apex Corvid for another late night race. And that should be, I believe, the final race of the qualifying rounds, where we will then know who's going to the brackets, who's going to play-in races. So it should be an exciting next couple of days. Make sure you check those out. We don't quite have channels assigned for everything just yet, so just be sure to be watching on all the Randomania affiliates, RPG Limit Break, your favorite randomizer channels, and you're sure to see some more Dragon Warrior in the coming days. Also, be sure to check out our runners' streams as well as our restream crew in order to check out their, or rather show them some love, give them some follows. That will definitely support their streams. Today's runners were DiabeetusThe2nd and JanusZeal. And our restreamer and tracker pulling double duty was Elmore St. James. I am Velu V, and with me in the commentator's booth was Carant. And if there are no other things, I think we can say that this has been a great race. Thank you all for watching. And I'm going to see if we've got a got a raid target or not.
Yep, we are raiding the American Dweem, who is playing a Dragon Warrior Randomizer, so keeping it in game tonight.
Awesome, awesome. So stick around for that raid and show some love to the American Dweem. And as always, have a great night, and we'll see you in the next one.